What's up people, Stardust here. Today I'm doing a Hearthstone Battlegrounds tier list. So here I'll be including all of the heroes in the most recent patch. I'll basically be ranking them in my perception of their strength. Which I think are the best, which I think are the weakest. I thought it would be a fun little video. Deathwing actually recommended in my community tab. It's like, hey, why not do some Battlegrounds content? This will be my personal rankings, there will always be a little bit of bias. This is my perceived strength, I'm at about 5.2k MMR, so I'd say about average ranked. So this applies to that ranking mostly. So yeah, let's get started. So S tier are totally broken, A tier are pretty good. B are, yeah, they're better than average. C is average, D is under average, E is pretty bad, and F is completely terrible. Heroes in F, I will never ever play them if I haven't given the choice. Starting off we have Shutterwalk. So you basically, with this hero, for 2 gold you can summon a 1-1 so-called Shutterling that repeats all battle cries you've played. Personally I consider this a Murloc related hero power. If Murlocs aren't in the game I will never ever pick this. And when Murlocs are in the game I think it's a pretty strong hero power. There's a lot of strong battle cries in Murlocs that often give you stuff like free Murlocs. Basically being able to cast them again, it's yeah, really great. Keep in mind that they of course don't copy themselves, you know, the second Shutterling does repeat all the effects of the first one, but it's still pretty strong. I think it's about... like, if you're not playing Murlocs, it's an instant F tier. But with Murlocs around, I think it's a B tier. If there's Murlocs in the game, this here is in my pool, I will likely just go force Murlocs with them, which has a decent success rate. Yes, it costs 2 gold instead of 0 like it cost before, but still, 2 gold is worth a good Murloc minion basically. Next up we have Maligo. So twice per turn, I got a wiki on second screen so I can look them up in detail. So yeah, I can replace a minion with a random one of the same Tavern tier, which can be in the store on your board, twice per turn. So there's a couple things you can do with this. You have the so-called token card to give you an additional monster. You can try to turn those into proper minions. You can try digging for a specific minion by replacing minions in the store. Yeah, I think he's the perfect example of a C tier hero. You know, consistent boost, not too strong. Yeah, I like him. He allows you to dig for certain power units. If you already got some elements, for example, you can dig for the Cyclone or for a strong tier 2 unit. I really like him. Next up we have the Dead Speaker, I'll leave his name as I don't remember his name. Can't remember last time I've played him. I'd rank him about D tier, so every time you go tier up you gain 2 blood gems, which you can equip to somebody to give them 1-1. I don't think it's enough of a hero power compared to a lot of them in the game. Power creep mostly acted in a way to dethrone him. Like, he's also mostly related to Quillboars, which right now are a very weak tribe. If Quillboars were stronger, he would be at least C to B tier. But due to Quillboars being worthless, I think he's D tier at best, in my opinion. He's not terrible, but he's definitely under average. Now we have the Secret Goblin. I forgot his exact name, but for 1 gold you can discover a secret. E tier in my opinion, I don't like him at all. You gain a temporary buff in exchange for 1 gold, when Battlegrounds is all about building momentum and winning multiple rounds. You just investing in 1 round basically with him. His best target is Ice Block, which enables you to survive an additional turn. Outside of that I don't think his hero power is valuable, especially not worth the 1 gold, which will slow you down momentum wise. Yeah, I just don't think his ability is very good because it costs a gold and doesn't give you any persistent power. Rune Totem or something, I forgot his exact name. 1 gold, a minion of every tier that you control gains 1-1. I'd place him above Shutterwalk in the B tier, I think he's very good. He has very specific interactions. Elementals, for example, really love him. If Cosmic Cyclone, for example, or whatever it's called, Cosmic... the Wind Fury... Divine Shield guy, Elemental. Anyways, if you got him as the only tier 3 unit, you can reliably buff him. If you have the... what's it called? Tavern Tempest, I believe it's called. The tier 5 Elemental that gains 1-1 every time an Elemental gains stats. If you control that one, then you'll basically gain 6-6 or 5-5 every turn. And just in general, if you have multiple units of multiple tiers, this unit skills your board pretty hard. And now we have the Lich. I know many people would place her in the E or even F tier. I know win rate wise she is in the F tier. But I would personally place her in the A tier, which I think is a very controversial choice. I think she shines when combined with demons, since you can get in tier 3 immunity, which means you just gain a coin every turn. But the thing in my opinion is, Hearthstone Battlegrounds is very snowbally. You won't notice the 20 HP you lose from this, you won't notice that a lot. Meanwhile, you're gaining an additional gold every single turn that you can save for future turns. Turn 3, that's already a free additional minion. Gives you a lot of extra momentum, and I just really like it. Yes, you lose out on HP in the process, but I think it's definitely worth it. I know it's a controversial choice probably, but I really appreciate what this hero can do. And once again, if you got Katana tier, I believe it's called, it's a tier 3 demon that makes your hero immune. It becomes a free hero power, and basically one of the best demon hero powers. Now we got Curator. This gives you a free 2-2 minion that is basically all types in the game. I'd say about a mid-ranking B tier, I really like it. It's just an additional 2-2 starting from the early game, making the first rounds really easy to at least not lose. And it's all tribes, which has a lot of synergies actually. It can be nice with something like Murlocs, it can be nice in something like Demons. It can be nice in a lot of tribes. It's just an additional 2-2, which you can sell, you know, for 1 gold if you don't need it anymore. I think it's above average, I really like it. It does send you some, certain strategies. Reno Jackson, I'd say... probably high A tier. Simply because of his flexibility, enables a lot of compositions. If you get an early party element, for example, you can turn him into gold, you certainly have good scaling. You can cap your... I forgot the tier 1 demon unit that deals 1 damage to you to gain 2-2. He's not even a demon, but he's associated with demons. If you turn him immediately gold, you get insane value. Yeah, Reno is one of the better hero powers, mostly because he's very flexible. There's no comp he doesn't work with. Archvillain Rafam, I'd say... also like high B tier. He is somewhat niche. He, at the price of 1 gold, can steal a minion from the opponent's board, or well, the first minion you kill, you basically gain a copy of. That doesn't sound that great on paper, but you're getting a minion for 1 gold. You can steal any minion for 1 gold. But it's very easy to gain good value from this in early game. You have a certain curve called the Rafam curve, where you wait a bit with going tier up. And because of that, you'll build up a pretty strong board pretty early on. But you're able to deal a lot of damage to enemy heroes. You have Sir Finley. So basically with him you get to discover 3 hero powers. He's basically, if he's in your pool of heroes and you don't like the other 3 options, you can go for him and try to reroll basically. Especially if you don't have the hero perk with, you have like this, I believe it's called Tavern perk, where you can select 4 heroes, otherwise you can only select 2. With him, well, you're able to select 3 hero powers, it's better. And it also can play around certain duplicates, you know, you can for example become the second Reno Jackson. Yeah, I'd say he's C tier just because he's an additional reroll, you know. He's inherently not a good hero, but he's always nice to have as an additional option if the other rolls aren't that great. Greybow. So your units get summoned in the middle of combat, gain 2, 1, and downed. Very great synergy with Max or Beasts. If Max or Beasts aren't in the game, he's worthless. Place him in S tier, first S tier, if Beasts and or Max are in the game, or even Demons can work with him. Because those are 3 of the strongest types in my opinion, and he synergizes really well with them. Gives you a steady early game so you can work towards those scaling units. He wins you a lot of battles, and I think it's one of the better hero powers in this game. Yashiraj, F tier in my opinion, I don't like him. So for 2 gold, at the start of your next combat, you will gain a minion from your current Tavern tier. Yes, you're buying a minion for 2 gold from your current Tavern tier, but I think it's too RNG heavy. Late game you need to reserve a spot for it. Early game 2 gold is a bit hard to use. You could buy a minion turn 1, turn 2, Tavern up, turn 3, buy a minion and use the hero power, but that's about it. I don't play this hero. There's few heroes that always plays above him, I don't think he's good at all. Shan Vala, I'd say high B tier. If you're able to get elementals with him, you're basically, or it, if I misgender any of the heroes, I'm not into World of Warcraft lore and stuff. I didn't co-op on that game. My apologies. But yeah, this hero, very Feast of Famine. He doesn't guarantee elementals, but in exchange, every elemental you summon is basically worth an additional 1 gold. Because every 3 elemental summons, your next tier up is 3 cheaper. And there's a lot of elementals that give you value for summoning them. Like this elemental, which can sell itself. You have one that makes your next refresh free. If you get good luck, you'll probably reach 1st place. If you get bad luck, you'll reach 8th place. But more often than not, I'm hovering towards 1st place with him. I think he's very great. Yeah, I like him. Captain Sky Greg or something like that. Basically, your hero power it starts at 1 gold value. Every turn it becomes worth more money. And you can use it once, and then you gain that money basically temporarily for that turn. However, then you don't have a hero power. I rank him like above the Goblin, but definitely an E tier. Yeah, actually, about here in D tier. Now my issue is that it's only a once per game gold value, and there's simply better hero powers out there that are just, well, easily outperforming him. It's like a late game free tier up, and that's about it. I think even Gallywix does it better, so yeah, I'm not a fan. Kael'thas, low C tier. He's probably lowest of the C tiers when I add more minions or more heroes to the C tier. So every third minion you buy is 2 extra. It doesn't cost you anything. It's a slow passive buff, but it doesn't do much. But it's a lot better than a lot of other hero powers in this game, in my opinion. But still, it's not great. It doesn't really contribute much to your boards, but at least it's something. Silas Darkmoon, high S tier. I think he's really great. So tickets will randomly appear on minions in the store, and every third one you buy, you get a free discover of your current devil tier. It doesn't cost you anything. Granted, you need good RNG to get off his power. But if you're able to get it off multiple times, you can discover free multiple minions. Especially early game, this can hit hard, but can also just give you more minions that you need for your hero. It is of the specific tier you're currently in, so there's some controlling you can do to it. Yeah, I usually have high success rate with him. I really like his ability. It's free and it gives you additional minions. What's there not to like? Gallywix, I believe is the name. Where do I even place him? Yeah, low A tier. I think that's right. So, in exchange for 1 gold, you can select a minion in the store, discover a minion of a tavern higher, and replace him with it. You still need to buy the minion, so for 1 gold you're basically refreshing a single minion. It becomes a tavern tier higher. You can then freeze it and use it on it again. Which basically means that you're able to achieve a tier 4, 5, 6 minion before anyone else can. You also discover, so early on you can grab strategy enabling minions before the rest of the lobby can. This for example gives you a Whelp Smuggler, party element, something like that, before the rest can. Or even something like Lord Bran, or whatever he's called, Bran, basically makes your battle cry trigger twice. Yeah, that kind of me. I have a high success rate with him, I think his ability is great. It's only 1 gold, and yes, it does cost gold to not give you any immediate advantage, but yeah. I just think when it goes off, you're basically guaranteed to end up high in rankings. Lord Barov, about mid C tier. You can pay 1 gold, choose between 2 players, and you pick who you think will win. If it's a draw, you get back your gold. If it's a lose, you lose your gold. If you win, you get 3 gold. If you get lucky, like once or twice in the game, you get an insane amount of extra momentum. And if you look at the heroes at their board state, more often than not you're able to predict who wins, and then it becomes a lot of extra gold. I really like him, but there's other higher powers out there that are more guaranteed, because you can always get bad luck with him. Still, he's better than the ones ranking under him if you ask me, because gold's important to get early tavern ups. Millhouse Manastorm. He's a pirate and elemental hero in my opinion, so your tier ups are more expensive, your refresh are more expensive, but your minions cost 1 less. which makes for great interactions with certain minions like Salimentals. You have the tier 3 pirate that can sell for 3 gold, with him that's 1 free gold. There's some other nice interactions. Teammates also reward you for purchasing units, so the discount's also nice there. You become really strong early in the game. You kind of drop off towards the late game, but it's a great way to very easily get into the top 4. I like him a lot. I'd say not a low A tier. Pyramid, I believe it's called. Give a random minion 4 health in exchange for 1 gold. Probably one of the few I would rank below Yashirash. If you ever pick him, you don't have to use the hero power. It's random, it's only 4 health. Nothing about this is great. I think we can just immediately move on. Gallywix. He's been nerfed. In the past, you could wait 5 turns to basically gain a free tier up. But now it's just, basically if you play this hero, every 3 turns you gain a free minion that you can discover. Doesn't cost any gold. I think that alone makes him worthy of high B tier. Just 3 additional discovers every 3 turns. Worst case scenario it's 1 gold, best case scenario you gain a minion you need. Yeah, I like its ability a lot. It's consistent and it's nice. So the Devour Minion, the Devour Murloc I mean, basically select a minion instead of selling it, you split its stats onto another random minion and you gain 1 gold, although it doesn't count as selling for something like a Salimental. It has very specific synergies. Outside of those synergies, he's high average, I think. He has nice situations, and yeah, instead of selling a minion that is holding stats, you can just split it onto another minion. But it's all RNG, it might just land on a random minion that you don't want to keep. C, high C, I would estimate for low B, but not above that in my opinion. Nosdomu, also pretty high A tier. I know a lot of people underestimate this hero. But you get a free refresh every turn. It's just 1 gold per turn, and especially early on those refreshes are very nice. But also later on, those refreshes can be nice. I just think it's a very nice ability, it's just very neat, just free refresh. There's no situation where you don't want free refreshes. It's a very versatile hero. Versatility in my opinion is a very important factor. That's why basically most of these are very versatile except for Greybow, at the moment the high ranking ones. Al-Aqir, I believe this dragon is called. Okay, it's better than those two, but it's still pretty bad. As me and a friend would like to call it, you get 2 gold in tier 5. The real power is, when you reach tier 5, you discover 2 dragons. But it can be of any tier, it can be a rank 1 minion, you know, that you don't need. It can be a bad tier 2 dragon that you don't need. On paper it sounds good, in practice it most often backfires and you just don't want to play this hero. It's like not having a hero ability at all. Ysera does the dragon thing way better. George the Fallen, he is strong. I don't like playing him though. I'd say... wait. Yeah, about here sounds right. I don't like having to invest 2 gold to get your hero power, and the hero power isn't that great until you get to keep that minion permanently. It's a very late game power, and I don't like a hero power that only works in the late game. It's a win more ability, basically, if you ask me. I don't like win more abilities. Don't know her name, it's not really relevant. Base version, 1 gold, a random minion gains 1/1. If you reach tier 3 it becomes 3 random minions. Tier 5 becomes 5 random minions. On release this was great because dragons were really strong, and when a dragon gains attack you could give it an additional 2 health with Dragon Whelp Smuggler. However, dragons are now nerfed, this is less strong. I think in general she is about in the middle of C tier. I mean, it's still guaranteed stats for a little amount of gold. It's only 1 gold. And from tier 3 onwards it's 3 minions. It's a decent value, but it's not exactly the greatest. Ysera, personally S tier, because dragons are still a very potent strategy, and guaranteed minions are never bad. So basically every time you refresh your store, a dragon is always added. If you freeze your store and wait for the next one, the dragon is also added. You're basically guaranteed dragons, and dragons are a really strong strategy. Lord Jaraxxus, previous set of minions, this would have been very high. Now I think it's like a low B tier. My issue with Jirax is that currently early game you can't really use it, because most of the time the units you want to buff aren't even demons. But like Urzuls and stuff, I guess it's decent, but they already gain a lot of inherent scaling. Do you really want to use 1 gold for 1/1 on all of your demons? Most of the time not. But still 1/1 on all your demons. If you're able to go demons with him, it's very strong power still. It turns your weaker boards into less weak boards, and it's still 1/1 per turn. I don't even know his name, so every turn the amount of attack this gives increases, and the next minion you buy from the store and use its hero power gains that amount of extra attack. I don't think attack's that valuable, and I also believe it costs 1 gold. What's his name again? I'm looking at the list. Overlord Southern. Yeah. 2 attack for 1 gold. I think HP is the more important stat, and yes, it's guaranteed on the next minion. There are a few minions where this is nice, but in general, it's one of the weaker buffs. The cat is pretty simple. When a hero dies, or a player dies, you get to pick a minion from their gold and keep it with all its stats intact, and if it's gold, it will be a golden minion. I think this is the bottom of the C tier. It's under average, it doesn't do nothing, it's very great if you're able to compete for the top, but it is win more. If you have a weak board, this hero power isn't going to help you at all and you will just die. Syndragosa, so you can freeze a single minion with your hero power, and every time a minion is frozen basically, and is frozen in the shop until the next turn, it gains 2/1. Selective freezing is nice. Increasing the power of a minion on the board is very nice. Wait, that's the wrong. I meant to grab Syndragosa. Like, yeah, middle of the pack C tier, I think it's a nice power. Ariane Starseeker or something like that, I forgot her exact name. Arana Starseeker. So after you refresh 5 times, Bob always has 7 minions. So that's the store. The store will always have 7 minions, which usually is the case until tier 6, I believe. It's not bad. It doesn't cost you anything additional. It will passively trigger. You can, of course, dig for it. Certain strategies that want certain minions early on can hard roll for this, like elementals. A lot of people don't like it. I think it's middle of the pack B tier. About here sounds right. Doesn't cost you anything unless you want to force it. Something like Murlocs that wants to stay in tier 4 can suddenly gain additional minions in the store. I would say it's like a weaker Nosdormu that takes a little bit of time to trigger. With pre-patch dragons, there would be arguments to stay in tier 2 for this. Elementals probably want to stay in tier 4 with this hero. It's like, it's nice, it's neat, but it's not one of the best heroes. You know, I won't ignore her if she shows up, but if any of the other better heroes show up and the situation calls for it, I will pick them. Lich King, very simple, high A tier. Once again, I've said as many times, I value special ability. Lich King works with any tribe. You can give a minion for free reborn in your next fight, which means when it dies it comes back to life. It doesn't keep any of the stats, it just keeps the stats printed on the card basically, printed on the minion. So that's, if it has Divine Shield by nature, it will still have Divine Shield. There's just a lot of things that have Avenge nowadays, which means if certain amounts of minions die, do something. There's great death rattles in the game at the moment. You just synergize with a lot of tribes, and it just makes your early game better and your late game a little bit better. There's no going wrong with the Lich King. Down the Thema Bran, once again one of those heroes I personally consider a Murloc hero. Theoretically you could go Pirates just by Swabbies alone and then trigger that, I guess. There's also some elements to trigger it. But in effectiveness you don't want to go this hero unless you go Murlocs, because Murlocs benefit a lot from him. So if you play 5 Battle Cries, you gain a free Bran. Bran is a unit that makes your Battle Cries trigger twice. Murlocs have a lot of synergy with Bran. Murlocs are very strong unless mechs are in the game. Therefore, I'd say about E to D tier if Murlocs aren't in the game, but I'm only considering this hero if Murlocs are in the game. In those cases, like here in middle of A tier as well. I think he's a very solid hero with Murlocs. Without Murlocs he's worthless. You're not picking him up. The other Star Seeker, I don't know her name. If you go tier up, you get a recruitment map. I looked it up, Elise. A recruitment map costs 3 gold and gives you the scope of your current tier. I mean, another middle C tier, a lot of people don't like her. I think it's neat. I guarantee the scope of the current tier. Yeah, why not? I mean, it's nice. It allows you to take for certain units. Once again, getting those early party elementals and the other important elemental tier 2 unit, Molten Rock. It's nice. I don't think it's a bad hero as well. Like, I would pick her above a lot of these heroes. It's a nice guarantee. Now, King Mukla, gain a banana. I don't even believe it costs gold. Does it cost gold? Oh wait, it costs 1 gold. Get 2 bananas, which are 1/1 buffs, and then at the end of your turn, give everyone else 1. Worst hero in the game. If it was free, I would consider it a decent hero. If it was just 0 gold, get 2 bananas, and at the end of the turn, give everyone else 1. But you're paying 1 gold to gain 1/1, but everyone gets 1/1. Oh, sorry. You're paying 1 gold to gain 2/2 basically, but everyone gains 1/1. Effectively, you're paying 1 gold for 1/1. That's it. Worst version of Hammer Curl. This here ability needs some kind of rework. Yeah, sometimes you get big bananas which give 2/2, and if you save them up, you can give them to 1 minion. Kind of see what they're going for, but it's just not it's not worth giving all your enemies 1/1 as well. It's just not. Sir Eudora, I believe. Or some Captain Eudora, something like that. Every turn you can dig for 1 gold. And once you dig 5 times, you gain a gold minion randomly. It's in your hand, so when you summon it, you get a discover of a tier higher. So basically getting 2 gold value at minimum. However, if gold and discover disappoint, you just wasted 5 gold to basically gain nothing. To get 2 gold to the future turn. It's too random. But better than these 4. Tried it a few times. Even with the right mana curve, it's just not great. Yes, if you get perfect luck with the ability and you gain a minion you need, it's probably great. But that's a huge gamble. You don't want that. You want to be consistent when playing a game like this. Infinite Toki, 1 gold. Refresh your minion tier, including 1 from a tier higher. Which refers to the current tier you're in right now. I mean, it can be neat, but you have to be very lucky to get a valuable minion from this. That said, it's just 1 gold for a little bit better refresh. I guess it's not nothing. Low D tier probably is justified, since it doesn't really cost you anything else. Tess. So, Tess Greymane, I believe. Yes, that's the full name indeed. For 1 gold, you basically gain your opponent's minions unbuffed as your next store. This is great if you're going for a popular strategy like beasts in a beast lobby or elementals in an elemental lobby or sometimes even demons. Because you're easier, it just becomes way easier to gain like golden versions of minions. And to just establish a board in general. There's a time and place for everything, as Professor Oak once said. If you pick her and there isn't a popular board, you don't have a hero power. But if there is a trend, especially if there's like an oppressive meta, like early Quill Wars on release when everyone is going Quill Wars, she dominates lobbies. Even outside of that, if you're lucky, few people are going elementals, you see them a few times, you're straight up winning the lobby. S tier, if chosen in the right situation. Yeah, I guess that makes her an A tier, because she does need the good amount, she needs the right situation. But if you pick her in the right spot, she's almost a guaranteed win, or at least top 3 or 4. Flingle Master. Oh, sorry, Flingle Master. Flurgle. So, whenever you sell a minion, you gain a random Murloc in your store. I like guaranteed things. Murlocs are one of the better types right now. Poison is a disgusting mechanic. I don't see him often in my selection screen, but he's probably one of those heroes I would pick every single time, actually. So, top of the S tier. I like guaranteed minions. Murloc's gonna win the game. Best Murloc hero. Unless you're being hard counted by Max, this is just a guaranteed win almost. It's a disgustingly strong hero right now. Yeah. Oh boy, what Chief called Xyrella, one of the newer ones. You can choose a minion in Bob Steffen to add to your hand, set its stats to 2, and it only costs 2 gold. So you're basically getting a discounted version of a minion. I don't think it's really that great. Yeah, it's just not that great. It's... You're getting a discounted minion, but its stats might get nerfed depending on which minion it is. It's still a cheaper minion. Certain minions do get buffed, but that's very early in the game only. It's like... It's the definition of average hero powers. AFK. Controversial choice. Probably placing her middle A tier when a lot of people don't really like her. So the first... How many turns is it? I always forget. Yeah, so the first 2 turns you can't do anything. You can freeze the store. So if you see something like a Salamental, you can freeze that. And then in turn 3 you can discover 2 minions from Tavern 3. So at the point when nobody is tier 3 yet, you can discover 2 minions from that. Meaning you get free reign no matter how popular the minions are from that tier. You get head starts to important minions at times. Now yes, you're skipping your first 2 turns, which means a little bit of damage, but it's worth it in my opinion. If you get bad minions from this, it's debatable. Now the thing is, you can immediately go tier up, and if you get a token hero, or token minion, which you have 2 turns to freeze, you can sell it, and then, you know, still go tier up and have a minion, plus 2 from this. It's not as bad as a mana curve as it looks, but it's still kind of puts you behind the rest if you don't get a good minion from here. But if you get a good minion, you're gonna stomp some people in this lobby. Next up we have Gallywix Kelly. I don't know the name. Trade Prince Gallywix. So whenever you sell a minion, in the next turn you gain additional gold. This can go over the gold cap of 10 gold. This has really great synergy with certain strategies that want to buy and sell minions. Monarchs are great with this, Elementals are great with this, Demons are great with this. Basically 3 of the most popular strategies. Doesn't give you additional stats, just gives you additional gold, but gold's very great. Also can be great with pirates. A tier is becoming pretty full, but this is another A tier contender. It works with a lot of synergies, and additional gold is nice. What is my Shadow Song? Let's say about here. So, in exchange for 1 gold, you can make a minion in Bob Steffen Torment. After 3 turns, you get it with 2/2. You are wasting 1 gold to purge your minion, but you only get it after 3 turns. Usually the minion you buy is gonna be low tier. This is so terrible. It's too slow. It's just simply too slow. 3 turns is too long. Change it to 2 turns and it would be a strong ability, but right now it's just too slow. I don't like it. Next up we have Patchwork. His hero power is that he starts at 15 additional health. I don't think I've ever picked him, but at least he's better than the rest of these. Well, actually. Nah, here's about more accurate. He's better than the ones beneath him, but he's not great. Health doesn't really matter that much, unless you're losing it. And if you're losing it, you're probably gonna lose a lot of it at once. Difference between 40 and 55 is small. If you go beneath 40, you probably almost instantly die anyway. There will be very clutch situations where this is really great, but outside of that... No, it's just not a very great ability. But it's nothing negative, so I guess it's decent. Full Gen, a lot of people like this power. I don't really like it. So basically, for free, you can once per turn swap the minion of health of stats of 2 minions. I guess it's a more controlled Devourer in a way, because you can swap your stats, then sell the minion. But it's swapping. If the other minion already is strong, you can't easily buff it this way. This works with certain strategies like Nomi versions of elementals. Beside of them, I don't really like Fulgin. He makes good boards better, but he doesn't do anything for weaker boards. I don't like it. Captain Hooktusk. So basically you can select, can remove a friendly minion, and then you choose a get option from 2 minions from a lower tier, and you get one of those minions. Here's the thing, you can't go lower than 1. So if you remove a tier 1 minion, you get a new tier 1 minion. This means elementals and pirates, and demons too, you can, for example, infinitely cycle your tier 1 minions. Go from a Elemental, sell it, get your token, turn that into another Elemental, free gold. Summon a demon to get the... I forgot which names are of the demons that gain stats when a minion is summoned. There's a few of them actually. But yeah, basically loop them easily. Or with pirates, you know, gain more swabbies, gain more discounts on tier ups. Hooktusk, very reliable hero, one of the stronger ones in the game at the moment, works with a lot of the factions. And it's just an additional gold printer. Plus, if you have those early token ones like Murloc Titan that summons a 1-1, you can turn that 1-1 potentially into a battle minion. Very great minion. Wax Toggle, Queen Wax Toggle, Wax Tusk, something like that. Queen Wax Toggle is the correct name, okay. So, in exchange for 1 gold, a minion of each type is 1-1, gets plus 1-1. When this was released, this was a nice hero power, however, nowadays a mix of tribes isn't that great. So, middle D tier. When the Menagerie, I believe it's called, that mixes minion types becomes great again, she is a great hero. Right now, it's not a good strategy, therefore this hero power is just not good. Ticketus. Like about here in the B tier, I think is accurate. So every 4 turns you gain a ticket, you gain a Dark Moon prize, which gives you random buffs. There are a few nice ones. The late game ones are kind of ridiculous. The early ones are like additional minion in the store, minions permanently in the store always have 2 extra health, those type of things. The nice additional buffs that they're never bad, you know. It's a reliable hero. What's this one called again? Dancing Daryl. A lot of people really like him. Not the biggest fan. About in the middle. So, whenever you sell a minion, add 3/3 to add 1/1 to a random minion in the store 3 times. So if there's only 1 minion in the store, you can basically guaranteed buff and amplify a minion like that. Think of, for example, your Molten Rock, which is hard to get attack onto. Boom, you get instant attack. Or the Elemental Cyclone, you know, that's as Divine Shield and Wind Fury that can attack twice basically and protects itself. Can give it that stats easily with this. Yes, it's great if you have the right minion in the store and if you have minions to sell. I mean, I guess it's consistent. I'm not the biggest fan of it, however. It's great in early game once and then you never really use it. Next up we have Maleficent Mana Storm. This is confirmed, how do you call it, when you like base something off how things go. But I'd say high A tier. Basically all your mechs always have 1/1 extra, doesn't cost you anything. Mechs are pretty strong, this is a nice buff. There's a few magnetized ones that if summoned attach themselves to another minion, they then gain an additional 1/1. If you make a minion golden, basically has 3/3 extra stats, which is nice, especially in the early mid game. It's just, I know I have very high win rate on her, like 70% of times I play as her I get to the top 4. Mechs are strong right now. I shouldn't be ranking her this high, but she just works well for me. Patches. There was a time where he would be at the top of S tier, now he's low S tier, still an S tier in my opinion. Guaranteed minions are never bad of a certain tribe. 3 gold, you get a pirate. After you buy a pirate, your next hero power costs 1 less. So basically, if you get a good curve, you get a few extra free pirates, otherwise you still get guaranteed pirates. You can just force pirates. Pirates are decent enough right now. They've been buffed last patch to a state where it's a playable strategy once again. You're most likely going to end up in the top 4 with him. Unless the rest of the lobby is really ridiculously strong, but then again, what would have saved you, right? Plus nobody is forcing you to go pirates. If you see good units for another tribe, go for them. Even just summoning 1 or 2 swappers in the game will give you an extra minion via this. Or what about free dealing gamblers? Sell them for 3 money. Free discount on this. You know, it's never a bad power. And I don't know, I just like playing pirates. I think they're fun to play. So once again, a bit of bias. Yoxaron is next one. For 2 gold, you buy a random minion from the store and give it 1/1. Yes, you get a minion for 1 gold less, but just like Yashirash, it's fully random. I don't like it. Next up we have Edwin van Cleef. So give a minion 2/1 for each minion you've bought this turn. It just makes good strategies a little bit better. I'd say C. I mean, I guess in the worst case scenario, I can always just buy trash minions, sell them, and then buff your good minion. So I guess it's somewhat of an insurance policy at times, but especially tribes like pirates, elementals, demons, that quickly want to cycle through minions, gain a lot of benefits from this. It's 1 gold, and it can easily be something like 8/4 or something, you know? Next up we have Forced Warden Omu. When you go tier up, you gain 2 gold. Bit of an overrated hero, but still a good one. A lot of people would rank him higher. Usually the 2 gold isn't that useful when you look at your usual tier up times. I guess it can allow you to be a bit greedy with tiering up at times. Ah, the Rat King. Another one I know a lot of people don't like. I do like him. I'd say lowest of 80. That sounds about fair. So every turn a random tribe is selected. When you buy a minion of this tribe, it gains 2/2. It's just very devastating in the early game and helps you getting started, if you're willing to go with whatever you get. If you do so, it's a very great ability. If you're inflexible, it's a worthless hero, but then again, be flexible, lol. Toon. So this is a very unique one. Costs 2 turn, at the end of the turn give a friendly minion 1/1. After each use, 1/1 gets added upon this effect. Yeah, this escalates really quickly. You usually want to go AFK in the first turn. Turn 2, you need a token hero or something you can just sell after using. After that you can just buy a minion and start scaling like hell. Possibly, probably the strongest hero in this game. It doesn't matter which minion you will buy in the early game, it will get the stats. It's almost a challenge to not enter in the top 4 with him. It's very hard to keep up with those stats unless you get a good bot yourself, and I don't know, Khotun almost always ends up high. Illidan. So your left and rightmost minion at the start of combat gain 2 attack and attack immediately. Yeah, middle of C tier I think is right. I used to not like him, then they added the 2 attack, and now I think it's a bit decent, at least early game. You need specific minions to make this work, and if you got specific minions it's really good, like for example the Parrots, the beasts that say when they attack trigger random friendly death rattle. You'll go first no matter what, and in those cases it's nice. Or if you got like the elementals that work on attacking. It requires specific minions, and with those minions it's a great hero power. Otherwise, it's, I guess, still decent. You get to attack first all the time. Kind of messes up your positioning a bit, since the minion on the right also gets to attack. Besides that, it's quite pretty nice. Next up we have Ragnaros. After killing 25 enemy minions, you gain a hero power. Until then you don't have anything. Then at the end of your turn, you give your left and rightmost minions 3/3. Another one of those middle of the pack ones. It's a bit of a feast of famine one. It does do anything until you have 25 kills, but then it becomes a really good hero power. It does cost you any additional gold, it just triggers every turn. Yes, if you're in a losing position, this is nothing for you, but tough luck, buddy, if that happens. It's better the ones below it. It's not a great hero power. This will make you win games and then think it's a great power, but then you lose and you realize it didn't do anything for you. It's a weird one, but it can be really great. It just depends on your luck. Zephyrus the Great. If you have 2 copies of a minion, find the third, and then the gold one, meaning you get the gold minion, which is then added to your hands. You still get the summon until you get the discover still. Costs you 3 gold, so you're just buying the third minion basically. I undervalue this hero, I should value him more. Yes, it's random which of your pairs you will finish, but just ensure you only have 1 pair when you use this. Golden minions are just very strong in this game, and having guaranteed access to them 3 times in a game is very strong. Next up is Al-Aqir. Your leftmost minion gains Wind Fury, Divine Shield, and Taunt, basically makes the hyper minion. Remember what I said about versatility? We like those. No, not a single type that is great with this. They should steal a few games early on. Yeah. Gem these nuts, golden. Yeah, okay, that's a bad one. And I swap a friendly non-golden minion with a random one and Bob Stavern. 0 gold, it's just a free ability. If you have a very good battle cry, like the Murloc one that discovers a Murloc hero, or something else that's just very good to summon, yeah, this one starts becoming really good. You need to reserve that minion, but given the right circumstances, it's a B tier, but outside of those circumstances, it's going to be weak. You have to know what you're doing. But she can scale up pretty hard, I mean. Yeah. Kurtru's Ashfall. This gives you an entire quest. I'd rather play one of these heroes. So, if you buy 3 minions in 1 turn, give the minions you bought 2/2. That requires 9 gold. And this progresses. Next time you need to buy 4 minions in 1 turn, give your hand and your board 2/2. And then progress again. Buy 5 minions in 1 turn, give all your minions again 2/2 and complete this. All of these sound good, but start doing the math, start realizing how expensive these are. Not a good hero. I mean, there are 3 additional side quests, so they're better than the ones below this, but even then they're still not great. Master Miguel. Another new addition to the S tier club. Probably got a placement about the bottom. Although all of these are just very good, I think the only one above the rest are these 2. So at the start of every turn you choose 2 hero powers, you get to use 1 of them. Now what makes this ridiculous is that certain hero powers like Reno Jackson can be in this pool. And then afterwards you get still new hero powers. I know, it's a very strong hero power, a very high win rate with him, he's ridiculous, he's fun to play. What's there not to like about this one? So the final 3 ones. Rakanishu. About here sounds right. So 2 gold, give friendly minion stats equal to your Tavern tier. Early game this doesn't do anything. Late game you can give 5/5 or 6/6 to a minion every single turn. If you have a certain minion that you want to get buffed. Really great ability. It's guaranteed scaling. And we like consistency. Deathwing, no offense to the fans, but about here, it's just not a good hero. Sorry to the fans of Deathwing. No, just no. I mean, Deathwing requested this video indirectly, so this is kind of BMing him, but yeah. All minions have 2 attack, including ones from your opponent. Realistically, this just does nothing. Yeah. That's it. It just does nothing. That's it. That's the entire hero power. And final one. Nazov is basically a better curator, so placing him above him seems fitting. Start the game with a 2/2 fish, which is a beast by the way. It gains all your death rattles in combat. So whenever a death rattle triggers, this minion absorbs it. Actually, nah, it's more like a middle A tier. Like placing him next to Curator is cute, but he deserves better than that. Because unlike Curator, you might actually want to keep this minion for the rest of the game. It's great in max, it's great in beasts. So let's say you trigger Death Rattle that summons a minion. This minion will basically remember it, and then when this minion dies, you summon an additional minion. Top of that, it's a 2/2 at the start of the game. Which means the worst case, I guess, only 1 gold, which... Yeah, you only should pick this when max and all beasts are in the game. Demons are also one to keep in mind for those, but you want one of those 2 tribes. And then it becomes a very strong minion pretty fast. Especially with like all the frogs jumping around, or the wolves training for beasts, this minion becomes pretty strong pretty fast. Anyways, this is my Battlegrounds hero tier list. Hope you guys liked it. If not, that's rough, buddy. But yeah, I hope you liked it. Something different than you hear for once. I know. That's unexpected. I guess it's another card game, so I'm uploading it on Stardust. Because once again, it's another card game, so I think it's somewhat relevant. And yeah, try out Hearthstone Battlegrounds, and like you hear, it's actually fun. And that's the video. Goodbye.